Hello, hello, everybody. All right. So it's been a wild last couple days. The energies have been really, really intense. I'm just gonna take this sucker off. Yeah, it's been pretty wild. So welcome. It's nice to see you guys. I've been a little bit off kilter myself, so I know all of us are kind of going through the ebb and flow like I discussed on some of my earlier videos. And if you didn't catch me, I'm also on Facebook, Kindred Heart Tarot. So I've just been kind of lying low a little bit, and I haven't been on doing tarot for a little while, but usually I come on every week and I do kind of a catch up and see what type of energies are going on. And I can say that the energies for the past couple days have been really intense. So for me in particular, they've just felt like quite amped up. And I found that I've been going back and forth in terms of feeling a really peaceful energy, and then also feeling this chaotic energy inside myself. And yes, of course, it is influenced by what's going on in the world. But at the same time, it's me going back through my history, patterns of behavior, experiences, ones that, hi, Charlotte, that, have stuck with me and that I still have something to learn from. So I can really feel this kind of urgency, whether you want to say from my spiritual team or from within myself or my higher self, to really remain peaceful and compassionate towards myself while I do this. But at the same time, it's really challenging to do that when your ego is going, failure, loser, or mistake, or you're never going to get it right, or whatnot. And when we're in kind of a little vacuum in terms of this isolation, it can either go one of two ways, right? You can find yourself more at peace because you have more time to be intimate with yourself again and getting to know yourself again and really understanding where you are at this point in your life, your successes and your failures. Or you can kind of go down the rabbit hole and really start to feel the constriction of this kind of new birth energy and the darkness and the void of it and the uncertainty. It can really kind of take hold. It's like, a bird with talons, and it's kind of that predator prey, light shadow, mutual understanding at this time. So if you can tap into that energy that life and death are a part of this experience, it's not just life, it's life and death. It's the ups and downs, it's the mistakes, and it's the successes. And this can be really hard to maintain for an extended period of time, because we want to grow, we want to evolve. But one of the key parts of our human experience is we want to see the results. So when we are waiting for manifestation or waiting to take action, because most of us know at this time we can take small actions, we can plan, but we're hindered in a very large way at this point in one aspect, and in another, we're actually being given a lot of time and new set of parameters to actually look inwards and to evaluate where we are right now. So I hope I finished that thread, but what I was saying is, if you find yourself feeling really constricted and in the darkness, there is a way to alchemize that darkness into movement. So it's using darkness to your advantage. And that is a part of alchemy. That is a part of manifesting. That is a part of being a light worker or a healer or a person who understands how you can create within your own life. So essentially, it's a magician, it's a creator within your own life. So how can you create from light and how can you create from dark? And the ability to do so from both aspects is really powerful. And it also kind of mimics the duality of everything in our life, which includes the masculine and the feminine. And you guys feel free to put any comments or questions, in line with what I'm talking about. And if anything kind of pops up for you as well, feel free to share. But I do feel quite strongly that there is this healing of good morning, Kathy. Good to see you. The healing of the masculine is really potent. So I did a card pull for myself last night because I was really going deep, and I actually felt quite in that chaos energy. I had received a really powerful omen, and I really was resistant to this omen. It kind of took me by surprise, and I will share that with you. I'm not going to share the meaning. If you want to look into it, you can look into it yourself. But I had been thinking about a situation a couple days ago, and I was sitting on a log at a beach, and I pay very close attention to animal totem, animal medicine. So I was sitting there and I was thinking about something, and the snake slithered up behind me. And I just heard a little bit of rustling, and I turned around. I thought it might have been one of those little geckos. And, okay, there's this big snake sitting there. So I'm like, okay, snake medicine. It's a very powerful medicine on its own. And I am, attuned to it. I understand the medicine of shedding your skin, the primal energies, kundalini energies, the masculine and feminine. However, I took a couple pictures of the snake, and it kind of went away, and I thought, basking in the sun, letting the sun's rays kind of, refresh me, rejuvenate me, and standing in the light for a bit. Because when you are in darkness for a while, subconsciously, intuitively, or physically, like in your home, it is important to get out in the light and remember that there is that, process that, nutrients kind of feeding you ready, always there. So a couple days later, yesterday, this is what threw me for a loop. I was sitting at the beach, the same beach, and I was having a conversation with someone on the phone, deep conversation about relationships. And I look out, and there's an eagle flies right over my head. This isn't I have eagle medicine. So I'm like, okay, hey, Mr. Angelic Realm. And then the eagle swoops down and picks a snake out of the ocean and flies away. And I'm staring at it like, so going, okay, I just saw an eagle grasp a snake out of the ocean. And actually, its partner, its mate, flew. So the eagle's mate flew around it, and they went and flew to a tree and devoured the snake. So much medicine and a huge omen if you pay attention to signs, synchronicities, omens, animal messages. So I spent the better half of yesterday actually looking into the mythology of this and the symbolism of this. And it took me, down into a shadow symbolism of warning and watching out for traps and pitfalls that life always gives us. So we do have challenges and trials, and we have the tools and the resources to navigate them, but sometimes we're in a really good position to navigate. So we're feeling confident, we're feeling strong, and we might have more mental clarity than at other times. And other times we might be feeling a little bit cloudy, uncertain, not really sure what we're doing, what's right, what's wrong. And then this is a time where that kind of temptation will pop up as well. And you'll be challenged and asked, on your spiritual journey, do you want to go this way or that way? And the snake has the forked tongue as well. So it's always sensing and using your intuition as to whether there is danger, whether there is a pitfall, with certain choices that you're thinking about or that you're looking at making in your life. So I just wanted to give that little bit of a heads up because it was a very potent message for me that if you find yourself in a similar situation where you're actually receiving maybe some nudges or niggling that say, hey, slow down for a moment, or take a deeper look at something. There's maybe some deception happening. And some animal totems that are related to that are the owl. the coyote. So there's this trickster medicine. If you are working with tarot, you might have the fool energy come up. And the fool is beautiful because the fool can mean one of two things, right? Well, many things, but in this situation, I'm talking about kind of the duality or polarity. So the fool can be really playful and exciting and like off to the new adventure, but it can also be, not having foresight, not really looking at what the long-term consequences of that decision might be. And the fool just blunders off, the cliff, so to speak, and then has to figure it out later. And sometimes that works out for us. And sometimes we really have a painful lesson we have to learn from our mistakes. So I think a lot of the energies that are happening right now are learning from the decisions that you've made, learning from your path this far in its entirety. Part of the snake medicine is devouring life whole. So if you're having trouble devouring parts of your life, so accepting your life exactly as it has been. So not taking one thing and going, just leave that out, or another thing and be like, yes, I'll just focus on that because that is a good part. And there's 1111 on the screen there. Really trying, okay, I have to be careful with my words here. All right, not trying, we're mastering these energies. And so you're witnessing me trying. No! Not trying, doing. I am changing. I am mastering my vocabulary in terms of the language of love and manifesting. But you can see how much effort it takes in terms of practice. So practice, practice, practice. So anyway, now I've lost my train of thought. But in terms of sticking with the energy of accepting everything as it is, that's a really, really challenging thing to do for the ego. Whoa! So right now you might have a really close look at what your ego's resistance is at this time. So there might be a particular situation or aspect of yourself that you're finding resistance with. And this would be a really great time to journal and actually go into those situations and maybe perhaps even bringing out a little bit of the inner child work as well. So asking what places in your childhood may mimic this situation that brings out that feeling of you either wish it didn't happen, you wish it happened differently, you look back at it as like a stain or a tarnish on your life, and look at maybe something that might have mirrored that in childhood and go, can I actually give myself or meet the needs that weren't met in that situation at this point in time? Is there a way in which I can cultivate either forgiveness or compassion or understanding or being validated, being heard by yourself, hearing, validating yourself, and providing that nurturing, that mothering or fathering that you felt you required at that time. So as we are working with the masculine and the feminine, and now I'm being brought back to where I started out in the first place, we're really working intensely with these energies of motherhood, fatherhood, of the self and outside of ourselves, and also the divine masculine and feminine within of ourselves. And so when I pulled cards for myself last night, after seeing this medicine, which is filled with symbolism of heaven and earth, the earth plane, the water plane, the air plane. Anyway, of course I have to laugh at that. But anyways, and then the plane of fire, so actually rebirthing in the energy of the phoenix. Are you guys following me? Is this actually making sense? So I'll show you the cards that I pulled last night because I just wanted to touch briefly on these, and then I'm going to pull some heavy hitter cards, and we're just going to dive right into the energies that are going on right now, because I do think this is a time where we do need a little extra help and direction. So you guys are you're going to see the in this as well. This is the card that I pulled for the past. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, healing the divine masculine, Osiris rises. And if you're not familiar with Egyptian mythology, and I'm not an expert, so you can correct me if I'm off. So, Osiris and Isis are actually like a destined partnership, a couple. And if you look into the symbolism of that, Isis actually had to go looking for Osiris's dismembered body all over the world, put it back together, and they had a child together. So Isis and Osiris being like a very potent example of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and of sacrifice and what it actually requires to be that level of a couple. But anyways, we have the divine masculine being healed without us, so in men around the world, and also within us. So everybody has masculine and feminine within them. And so within us, really searching for, where is the masculine unhealed? So where within us do we actually see the masculine as a perpetrator, as rigid, not being allowed to ask for help, stoic in a sense where they have to do everything themselves. They don't actually understand that there's teamwork involved and there's still nurturing allowed for the masculine as well. And one of the deepest things about the masculine that is being healed right now is the importance of protection. And so when we have the idea of the masculine as a perpetrator, that isn't in the same frequency or allowance of having the masculine as a protector and a safe space, so that we can actually have the feminines so protected by the masculine within them, and perhaps without as well, in a partner or friendship or whatnot. But most importantly within them, so that there's this space for the creative feminine to feel safe and actually move forward in her bringing to life and birthing of her new ideas and creations, that new birth that we're guarding vigilantly. So a very powerful medicine of the masculine healing right now, and not only outside of us, and, like I said, romantic relationships, partners, because you'll probably be hearing or seeing a lot of masculines in a dark night of the soul, a lot of masculines really looking inwards or being forced to through relationship or karmic contracts, weaknesses, mistakes, choices where they saw themselves as a victim. And both feminines and masculines are really having this sense of victimization destroyed. And I say that carefully, you guys, because I'm not here to discuss the definitions of victimization right now. I do know that you can be victimized. Yes, there are situations where, yes, you are a victim. I'm talking about an overarching perception of life as a victim. So not being empowered, everything happening to you. This is what I'm talking about right now, not a particular instance where you may have been victimized. I just thought I would clarify that. So both masculine and feminine are really having this dismantling and dissolving of that victimization energy. Because if you are seeing yourself as, not being able to acquire because you are in a victim circumstance, so nothing ever happens right for you, none of your relationships ever work out, it's all because of other people, you are putting the blame everywhere else and not taking responsibility for any of the actions that were put into these relationships or situations. And I'm also referencing patterns here, you guys, patterns of your life. So what patterns these are that actually keep repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating in different circumstances and relationships in your life. So it could be female bosses, it could be male bosses, it could be male partnerships, female partnerships, whatever is right for you. But you will know at this point in time when you're doing this work where your patterns have undermined your desires and what you actually wanted. So the subconscious energies from this wounded masculine, or, the masculine inside ourselves, or the patriarchal ideas, societal ideas attached with what a masculine should be. Don't cry, don't show emotions, those kind of things. That's what I'm referencing when I talk about the wounded masculine. And so we're really coming into this place of dismantling that victim, and that is very difficult for the ego. So we can have some lashing out, and we can have some really childish behaviors coming out. Like I would say yesterday, I had a full-on temper tantrum, like a spiritual temper tantrum about this snake and the eagle, because I didn't want to accept my whole life as it is. I didn't want to. I'm not where I want to be right now, exactly where I want to be. It's not perfect. It's chaos, right? But whilst I'm cultivating a lot of peace right now and learning so much and growing so much, and quite possibly I could say I am the best version of myself ever in my life, the most powerful version of myself at this point, even in this place where I don't have all my goals reached. I am in a place of uncertainty. I do have choices that I'm not sure about. I don't know, right? So there's all that energy. But if you can tap into those instances where you actually drop into your child self, where you're not getting a need met, or you don't understand what's happening around you, so there's a sense of confusion and disorientation that's happening, then you can provide some compassion and some soothing and some nurturing to yourself. So that's where this card comes in. And I'm serious. This is the card spread I pulled. So Divine Guardian, protection of the winged mother. Yeah. So this is all about, while you are birthing, while you are learning, while you are cultivating this new aspect of yourself, this new vision of actually being secure in yourself, being secure within yourself, having a secure masculine presence within yourself and a secure feminine presence, and allowing those two to create like they've never created before. That is what this energy is about. But it's also about knowing that you can't do everything on your own. So really allowing yourself to ask for assistance from an energy that is more all-knowing than you at this point in time, because we can't see everything. So we have this divine guardian, Isis, in this circumstance, and she's got this beautiful sword with a scarab beetle, all about rebirth, and also fire for her. And it's about holding ground, holding space for us. So as we navigate as fools in this new energy where we don't know, none of us know. So there is that big overarching energy of traversing the unknown in the darkness, using the darkness to our advantage, learning to see with night vision, learning to see more with our intuition, our third eye, rather than what's right in front of us. So a very powerful energy of protection, but also of motherhood. So the sanctity of motherhood and being a mother for ourselves in times where we feel that we're going back into that childish nature of not knowing, that we might not have our needs met, and having that fear crop up. So really being attentive to our fears right now so that we can meet them and have compassion towards them, rather than allowing them to be met with more chaos and more fear and anxiety. And that is a possibility right now, but this is an option that I'm discussing. And no joke, this is the card that came up after that. Miracle of Isis, miraculous healing of the goddess. So we have the masculine healing, the mother energy, and the goddess energy. Whoa! And of course, if you look at them in succession, we had the masculine first, the mother in the middle, and then we had the pairing here. So this is big, and this is why I want to touch on it, but we really are preparing for our healthiest relationships on this earth plane yet, okay? Because when we are dismantling those patterns from childhood, from poor relationship, coping, from trauma, from other people's projections, from societal expectations, house, car, baby, family, that's all you are valued for. We're moving away from that. We're really looking again at our inherent value and the inherent healing and what's inside of us, what we take with us everywhere we go, to different places, to different houses, having home within ourselves first, so that we can have home whichever house we go into, or being at home within ourselves and a relationship with ourselves, so that we can be at home and a safe, healthy home when we're in relationship with others who may feel like home as well. So this is a huge, huge energy. And that's why I did feel compelled, okay, Mollie, you have to go on and do a reading and give and share some of this energy, because there's definitely power that needs to be shared right now. There's definitely wisdom that needs to be shared, and this applies for everyone watching too. You have a special path. You have special experiences that have shaped and molded you up until this point, and you may not be ready at this moment, but there will come a time where you have an opportunity to share more of your experience and assist others through that sharing of knowledge. And it would be very beautiful and powerful if you can find the courage to do that in your own way, to come forward and share that information. So let's get into some card pulls for today. And thanks for everyone who has subscribed to the YouTube channel. I do appreciate that. It is hard work building and stepping out of your comfort zone and changing platforms and doing all of these fun things. And I'm up for the challenge. It's been a slow road, but that's okay. Just keep going. Okay, so I'm going to pull from the Spirit of the Animal Oracle, because I just feel like, holy macaroni, there's so much animal medicine out, to assist us at this time right now. So doing kind of past, present, future energies, just so we can get an idea. Now, remember, the energies that are happening right now are so fast and potent that these messages could only apply for today. They could extend out a little bit longer. They might not, but take these messages with a grain of salt in terms of time, because time is actually changing a little bit too, but I don't want to really get too much into that. Except while I'm shuffling, maybe I will talk about it just briefly. Have you ever thought about manifesting? And I don't know about you guys, but I get frustrated a little bit when I put something out there and I'm like, okay, now. And then the universe will be like, patience. And then I'll be like, okay, how about now? And then, no, still nothing. Then you're starting to move your energy from patient to expectant and desperate. So anyways, there's this oscillating energy when we're trying to, when we're manifesting or have manifested. All right. And that is one little point I want to leave with you guys that I had an epiphany moment on yesterday, was there is a future self that has everything. So future Mollie has got all her needs. She knows exactly what she needs, and she has the needs that I'm thinking about now. So when you're manifesting, maybe you can connect into that future version of yourself who has everything and just go, okay, we have this already. So I already have, this is what I want. So for example, I'm trying, see, I have manifested a beautiful home. So practice, practice, practice. The language counts, you guys. The language counts because it's how we talk to ourselves as well. And it's part of how we were in the victim mentality anyways. Always, something always out of reach from us, or, so your future self, that future version of yourself already has it. So just tap into that energy of already having that which you desire, that which you have manifested. Oh, yeah. All right. So I've got the cards here, and George is coming to say hello. I guess you guys can't see him there, but he is here. So let's see what we've got going on. What does the universe want to help us with at this time? Visionary. So, yeah, sorry, I'm just reading a couple of the comments here. So we have the visionary energy, the giraffe. This energy has come up definitely over the past year. I actually never really worked with it before this year, so 2019, 2020. So rise above earthly matters. This is very important right now. Glide through life with grace. You are able to see the right path, stand tall in your self-worth, and love with a big heart. So this one is packed with a lot of different energies. So when we are in a small scope, for example, the snake on the beach, in its land habitat, it is at the top of its game. It can hide in little nooks and crannies. That's why it's part of the underworld energy. And it can feel the vibrations of the ground, and it's moving, right? Whereas the eagle has higher vision, baby. So the eagle can see, way more than that snake on the ground, right? Even though the snake on the ground has intuitive capabilities, it can also feel gut feelings, gut instincts, right? But the giraffe, the eagle, those visionary animal totems, they can see from a higher perspective. And here on Earth, in this experience, we have our ego, which is our kind of lower perspective, our kind of grunt work, our feeling, our perceptions that are limited to this experience. And then we have our higher self, which is everything. It's all connected. We have total clarity. We have total understanding. We have a memory of our path here. We can understand how things fit together. We can understand what will work and what won't work, what is okay in terms of the grand flow of life, and what actually is going to go against the flow. And that is, of course, attached to control and trying to control situations for your best outcome, but that outcome is perceived through an ego attachment. So higher vision also means allowing the universe to work on your behalf, allowing that flow to work on your behalf, because we might think we know something with our kind of like snake perspective. We might be like, oh, okay, there's a little fly and I'm going to go get it. But we don't see that behind the fly, there is a heron that's going to eat us, right? So with this higher vision, we can go, okay, maybe I can't see the whole picture right now. And that's okay. I'm actually going to give it up to my higher self. And I'm going to trust my higher self that I do have that right path in front of me. I will see it when the time is right. I will see it and I will know. So a very beautiful energy. And let's not forget the self-worth, because right now we can be in that position where we want relationship, or we want out of relationship, or we're not content where we are, or we feel like we've made a big mistake, or we want to say something to somebody, but we haven't found the courage or the words yet. There can be all sorts of things happening because every single one of us is going through our own personal kind of pain game, where we are dismantling and transmuting that pain into energy we can use for creation in our next step, that path, that next path. Because every one of us, and that was just 3333 on the screen there, every one of us has a new aspect or element to our path coming up. So a very, very wise energy to be in is to continue coming back to and cultivating that self-worth, that empowerment. So speaking to yourself with empowering energy, with empowering words. And this morning, I wasn't feeling empowered. I, woke up and I was like, what's today going to bring? Feeling the powerful potency of that spiritual omen that I had worked through, and also, the kind of mundane Groundhog Day patterning that I've got going on right now in my life. And I didn't want to really get out of bed. I wasn't like, yes, today is the day, and however, there's this part of you that we all have that has this little burning flame. And even if we're feeling depressed or we're down or we're really PO'd, there's always this part of us that's like, get up or go for a walk or go get some exercise. And if you can, just any chance you can to listen to that mothering voice that's trying to assist you out of stagnant energies, listen, grab onto it, and move forward with love and that big heart. So let's see the clarifying energy for that. Bats in the belfry. Resonating to the number 7, you can achieve great things. Okay, so this is hilarious that it comes with the giraffe and the visionary. And I've already dropped a couple hints or clues about flying blind here. But all right, bats, sonar. Okay, so there are times, especially on the spiritual journey, where you are blind as a fucking bat. Okay, and what does this do? So we all know that kind of theory about the senses. So you take one sense away and the other senses have to adapt. They have to acclimatize. They have to get used to a new way of being. And so even if you look at the energies in the world right now, it's shifting and changing. The frequencies are changing. You may see, feel, taste, touch this happening. And so our bodies are actually acclimatizing, changing to this new energies. And so our whole being is going through this right now. However, there's this little caveat of you that knows that you're in the dark about something. So there's not quite enough information yet for you to have a full understanding of something. It'll be different for everybody. Could be a relationship, could be a business project, but there's something that the universe has on hold just for you. And it's kind of like a poker hand or a house of cards, so to speak. We have to show our hand as much as we can. And the universe then, in turn, when the time is right, when we're ready to see it, will show us their hand. So the universe will show the hand when the time is right. And so what we can do in this time of blindness is really cultivate all of our other senses. So really strengthen the weaker senses within ourselves. And so you will know where your weaknesses lie. And this is a really great time to have higher vision about your weaknesses as well. So learning from our mistakes being a big part of moving forward on this path, because I don't know for you guys, but for me, I am a bit tentative. I am fully aware that there are adventures and people and things out there on this new path that will be fantastic and will be really interesting. But there's a part of me that's like, I just want comfort. Like, I just want comfort. So I am clinging a bit to that and not allowing myself just to go and let the wings out and fly forward on this new path. So part of me can be compassionate towards that and go, okay, I love you and your resistance, right? Like, Mollie, gotta love you, gotta love your resistance. All right. And understand that that is, a weakness for me that I can put in some nurturing to that will help me be stronger as I move forward on that path in the future. So this is, very intricate weaving, you guys. This is like, look at yourself as a skilled sewer or a skilled knitter. We are, in that energy right now of mastery and precision, and it can feel tiring and it can feel like, no, okay, I've had enough of this learning business, closed for the year. But we did sign on. We are very powerful. We're stronger than we realize. And you might hear that and go, I don't want to hear that anymore. But it's true. We know it. We know we are stronger because there's been times in life where we never thought we would get through something, and we did. And that was our own courage, and that was help from others. And that was understanding we couldn't do it on our own, and also believing in something higher than ourselves, or that a better day would come. So let's see what we have for the middle here. Loon, intuitive. I think we got this one last week, perhaps. Listen to the song in your soul. Listen to music. Get the energy flowing. I shared something on my personal page the other day. I'll put it on my Kindred Heart Tarot Facebook page as well. It's a beautiful woman singing. Anyway, trust in your intuition as you have a way of knowing. Emerge from the busy life and seek more solitude. Recognize that you are unique and that you are loved. So this one, I mean, we don't see loons often, right? And we know they have that eerie, beautiful call. But of course, they're a very big sign for Canada, the loony. But anyways, so really embracing your differences, knowing that you have differences from other people, embracing their differences that they have from you, but also really looking at yourself as a unique and beautiful expression, in this whole entire tapestry. You are a unique and beautiful expression. So that doesn't fade as we go through these times of blindness, where we're really called to be that bigger version of ourselves. It can be really challenging. So George is seeing something fun, I guess. So even in your challenge, even in your weakest points, find a way to look at yourself as that unique and beautiful version of yourself. And listen to this song in your soul kind of makes me think that, there is this song, just like there's that little flame that's always burning, that's always on in the background that we can tap into. Sometimes things might get too noisy. We might get too distracted because we don't want to focus on it. We don't want to, learn everything at once. We might be tired, exhausted, and that's okay. But it is saying it's always there for you to return to. It is always there for you to return to when you're ready. So you are deeply loved as well. Deeply loved. Aww. I love it when card readers like, you can't make this shit up. Well, it's true. Hedgehog love, baby. Number 10, new beginnings. Positive, uplifting new friends. And so this one really talks about this is so perfect. Couldn't be any more perfect. Okay. Each hedgehog has something different about it. It's funny. I feel naked right now because I don't have my rings on, but I usually, for you guys who tune in, I usually have this beautiful big ring that I wear, and that big ring is like a statement piece for me, and it can attract people to me, or like wearing jewelry, crystals or gems or whatever it is that's part of you, that's part of your essence, can attract people to you that are part of your tribe. So each hedgehog has something unique. It could be a scar, it could be blue eyes, green eyes, it could be just something about your spirit that actually allows them to recognize you're one of them, right? So you have a little bit of a spiritual knack, or you're always willing to grow or learn, or you are an entrepreneur or a visionary. There's something unique about each of us that calls out, that sings to another person, that attracts them and magnetizes them so that we can find each other in this earth life. So this hedgehog love is talking about, honoring those unique little parts within ourselves. And with the loon and the intuitive, it's just beautiful, recognizing that you're unique. So recognizing each other's beauty as well, really powerful for this week. But it's also saying that even in this time of solitude, there are times to reach out and connect with okay, sorry guys. George is barking, and although teamwork would be really wonderful right now, teamwork doesn't seem to be happening. So I am going to go retrieve George because he's barking, and I'll be right back in one moment. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Remember, patience, compassion, but everyone can only meet you at the place they're at. So everyone might not be at the same, perspective you are, and that is totally okay. But just work with what you have. So I'm just going to take a sip of tea here, and then we're going to get into the future. Okay, so, woo, hello. This is why I told the story about the eagle and the snake, apparently. You are welcome. So here we are. We have the coyote. And I did talk about the coyote in the beginning if you're watching. So these are signs and synchronicities, you guys, meant to come back up. So, revealer of truth. Don't take things too seriously. Make time to play. Great wisdom comes from laughing at your own folly. Look out for the traps and tricks of life and learn from them. So, I'm going to read this one out because I actually pulled this one myself the other day because I was thinking, okay, this is a bit of a forewarning to watch the energy somehow. Something is coming up where I'm going to have to use my discernment. I'm going to have to look out for a trap or a pitfall here. So I'm going to read the whole thing to you guys because when we're in serious times, which I feel like we are, where we don't really know, we can give advice on coping strategies for how to deal with anxiety, but none of us really know how it's all going to play out and turn out. So there's this element of, curiosity and the mystery that no one has the answers to. So we can cope and we can adapt, but none of us have the perfect answer, right? So it can feel like, how can I have fun? Or how can I focus on laughter? Or how can I create in a time like this? Well, remember to stay out of that victim energy if it's a pattern for you. And then we can go, okay, how can I be more empowered even in this energy of restriction? So that bat in the belfry energy, how can we actually adapt and be flexible to the changes that are happening? So coyote medicine: survival, stealth, ingenuity, cunning, trickster, escape from traps, wise fool, playful, teacher, transformation, wisdom. Among Native American cultures, coyote has been called the trickster or the wise and foolish one. We have all been the fool and we have all been tricked, but it's all part of life. We make mistakes, fall down, suffer bad choices, yet learn from them all. The person that can learn will survive and thrive. Coyote teaches us to play and celebrate life daily. Coyote asks us to laugh, especially at ourselves, and not take life too seriously. Coyote medicine is associated with youthful energy, childlike wisdom, and lifelong learning. Just a little caveat here. Remember before I was talking about the childhood and, meeting your inner child, and I was talking about having a temper tantrum? Well, there's the other side of child nature too, which is wonder and boundlessness and not being restricted by other people's perspectives of you or judgments of you, not really seeking approval. We learn that later, right? So there's the two elements of the child energy as well as the fool energy, right? The wise fool and the fool who bloop, bloop, falls off cliff. So coyote people are asked to be students of life. Coyote wisdom is seldom delivered directly, but comes from the long and winding road. Yes, we will fail. Be fooled, be deceived, and worse. We may fall down 7 times, but get up 8 and win. If coyote is your totem animal, you'll be assured of success if you learn from mistakes and never give up. And that's the thing, learning from the mistakes. To laugh, to adapt, transform, and thrive is the heart of coyote medicine. So contrary, this asks you, have you been taking life too seriously and lost your childlike joy? Are you learning from your mistakes, or are you caught in the same old trap? Is someone trying to deceive you? Don't be tricked. Use your intuition. And also right now, you may have noticed that there's a lot of energy about the truth being revealed. So peeling back layers. So even as the snake sheds its skin, it's revealing another truth. As each layer comes off, is revealing another truth or another aspect to our journey. And so that is happening on a big level. It's also happening on small levels. So you may have friends, people coming into your life to reveal truth, And that's just going to be part of our journey. And, you know, the truth sets you free. Yes, it might hurt. You know, you might feel it coming, but it's better in the circumstance to know if spirit is bringing that forward for you and or revealing it to people en masse. So let's see what the, ooh, zing. Ooh, all right. Okay, so the energy that we have paired with the coyote revealer is sacred beetle armor. So here we have the little lady, little lassie, and she's got her sacred beetle. And it says, you have a mighty shield, and it resonates to the number 11. So this is a master number, and it is saying here, along with that divine guardian protection, and the scarab beetle actually is in her her sword here. So if you look at the scarab beetle medicine, you might have some extra information come through, but it is about resurrection and transforming death into life. So this is also saying that we don't have that protection at every moment in our life. This is why we, you know, fall into pitfalls or make mistakes and don't see it coming. And there's also a spiritual bait and switch that can happen sometimes where we're led into a particular direction so that we can learn a really big lesson for our spiritual evolution. This card indicates that there is a time coming up here where there are going to be some traps and pitfalls and laid out for us. So now that we know that, we can better prepare. We're not going to go in totally naive and foolish. So we know that there is danger up ahead. We know that there is something that's just not quite right. So it's going to be important for us to tap into our intuition and discern and kind of go, okay, like I might need to second guess everything here. I might need to inquire deeper into everything, especially contracts, especially new people that you meet, old lovers coming back, new lovers coming in. Everything needs to be kind of really sussed out, not in a paranoid, anxious way, but just a knowing way. So the sacred beetle comes to help protect you in a time where you might need a little bit extra protection. So really a balancing of trusting yourself and a little bit of knowing that the game of life includes the ups and downs. The game of life includes people who are genuine, who are, you know, quote unquote, innocent in their intentions, but there's also people who are not. So there are people who will willingly come towards you and want to take from you or want to get one over on you. And it would most likely be a power play. So be aware of people who use power in order to get what they want. Be aware of that type of individual who, you know, it's a game of win or lose, because if you come at it from a community perspective, you'll have this understanding that we all work together and that it's actually not win or lose. It's win-win or lose-lose. So just watch out for that energy of winner-loser and that power play energy. So manipulation. Watch out for manipulation coming up. Now, Coyote is a discerner of truth, right? So if you're playful and if you're not so serious, you might actually be able to kind of crack this energy before it even has a chance to gain hold. So let me see. I think I'll read a little bit about this beetle card. How has the connection been, you guys? Has it been pretty good, or is there some jumping or sound issues? I just want to see, but if you are tuning in, just let me know. So it says, sometimes we need to have a shield up, and who better to demonstrate this than this beautiful fairy, her psychic shield, and her faithful companion, the mighty Atlas beetle. At this time, you need to have friends too, a strong shield that you develop from your thought forms. Yes, it is right to be open, warm, bright, and very well. These beautiful qualities can and must be developed, and they have been. But at this time, your openness and vulnerability have been spied by one who wishes to interfere, drain energy, and even hurt you. Please do not be afraid. You are very strong, and this card says you have all the means necessary to put a final end to this form of interference. That's interesting. And this is, yeah, anyways. I had a dream about interference last night. So this beautiful, strong Atlas beetle can shield you from any harm, but its presence will truly be of assistance when you begin to take yourself out of harm's way. And this one can be tricky if you have patterns that I was talking about earlier of being in drama, or, you know, if home wasn't a safe place for you, then you'll feel at home with people who aren't safe for you. That's a generalization, but you get the idea. So making decisions right now that help move you out of harm's way and protect yourself. So you are number one. So if there's an opportunity that comes to you, or a person that comes to you, say even it's a date, and you're kind of like, and you get a little bit of an inkling that their energy is not quite right, then do you people please and go, oh, okay, just because you don't want to hurt their feelings? Or do you put yourself first and protect yourself and go, no, I'm going to trust my intuition. Thanks for the offer, but no. Right? So there's this energy of taking care of yourself first. It's practice, practice, practice. So it says, this creature has flung out its metallic, powerful wings in a bid to help you make it through a tough time. But its true messages and lessons are that you can begin to do this for yourself. You can minimize the impact of aggressors and hurtful people, and you can eradicate the environments that create opportunities for predators. Woo! 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 All right. For a time, you have this protection, but while you wear it, and while this amazing creature shields you so you can get closer to your dreams, you must move and you must learn fast. Woohoo! Hello. If you guys want to read more about that card, it is number 38, and it is in this deck, Shapeshifters by Lucy Cavendish. You can look it up online and find the full read there. So definitely needing psychic protection. There are some energies out right now. It doesn't have to be anyone in particular. It might be, and you might have an inkling to who that is. Don't second guess yourself. If there's a warning, it's there for a reason. It doesn't mean that it's good or bad. It just means you have to watch that energy carefully. So it has to come from a genuine place. It must, in order to help the situation. And so if it's not coming from that place, you say, nope, not ready. You're not coming from an authentic place where I'm not going to deal with that. So be very wise. It is required coming up here in the future. And of course, you know, with the coyote medicine, it's to take it with a grain of salt too, because we do have to be playful about that. We know that there are people that like to take, and we know where that comes from, and it's just our responsibility to protect ourselves and move forward, you know, in the highest and best with the most compassion for ourselves, but understanding we don't have to put ourselves in harm's way in order to move forward on this path. So really really taking the lessons from the past, the lessons that we've learned about other people's behaviors, about how and when we listen or don't listen to our intuition and what happens, and the signs and signals that our higher selves, our guides, and animal totems give to us. So very intense reading, you guys. I'm not going to be doing personal polls. I do believe I'm going to be putting out a sale. I think I'm going to be doing sessions, 45-minute sessions for a discounted price. So I'm going to be figuring that out and putting that out soon. So I will let you know, but thank you so much for tuning in today. And hopefully I'll be back more with some more fun and exciting energies. But yeah, just remember to embrace your unique beauty and to understand that, you know, in our lives, as we go up and down through life and death and rebirth, and we're needed to have that kind of tunnel vision to focus. And sometimes we're needed to come out into that expanded visionary focus. And so just be gentle with yourself, but know that there is going to be a little bit of a tightrope, that there are going to be some tests coming up for us, because when we move through a rebirth, we're more powerful, right? So those people that want power, not by earning it, not through trust, not through love and connection, but they just want it to have it. They want it so they don't feel weak. Just watch out for that type of energy coming up, and hopefully we can get through it. And even if we do fall for it, we will just learn, right? So it's just a heads up, you guys, to pay attention to the sign signals and your body, because that's part of that snake medicine too. And in that omen, the snake was in the water, right? So it wasn't on, it wasn't in its natural kind of habitat, so to speak. It was more vulnerable out there. So sometimes we do need to meet halfway to create something and get something done. But at the same time, recognize that that does create vulnerability. So don't go in naive, not thinking that you're, totally in your game. Know that there is vulnerability associated with that. So be aware. All right, I think that's everything that wants to come through today. I'm going to go have some food and I'm going to do my best. All right, I love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't liked the video or please subscribe or share, it would mean the world to me. Thanks so much. Bye for now.